Tonight, the Fox community goes global through the efforts of a well-known Shreveport humanitarian. We are bringing you an in-depth story of a crisis that's not in the major headlines, but its turmoil will shake you to your core and touch your humanity. I'm proud to bring you this story. A civil war has left hundreds of thousands dead, displaced, hungry, and in need of help.
When I was there were people who had lost their hope.
An immense crisis that has called a Shreveport humanitarian worker to action. Velma Kirksey-Tarver is known for her Shreveport-based nonprofit, the Institute for Global Outreach, also known as IGO. Its mission aims to alleviate suffering across the globe. For the past 14 years, she's traveled to African nations, meeting with partners on the ground to help mothers, children, and students in desperate situations. The organization sponsors feeding, clothing, and education programs to help families in extreme poverty. It's provided aid to hundreds of people over the years. On a recent travel, she was told by locals to visit a refugee camp in Debre Berhan, Ethiopia, to see a growing refugee crisis firsthand.
You just can't unsee it. You know, the circumstances were far beyond what I do for IGO, and yet once I saw so much suffering, I felt like the one thing that I could do is come here and make more people aware of something that most people are not even aware of.
They are victims of the Ethiopian Civil War that's ravaged the country the past 2 years. The United Nations estimates 600,000 people have died, while thousands have fled into refugee camps, which have reached overcapacity.
This camp became just overfilled with so many different individuals that were really looking to, for food, for shelter, for help.
Families forced to live in unsanitary conditions because it's their only means of survival.
The floor is dirt, and when it rains, they just get rained on. And they've been out in those camps for over a year.
The refugee camp in Debre Berhan houses more than 1,000 orphans.
To look into the faces of these children and realize that they really have no one.
1,000 children with constant hunger in their eyes.
They are extremely hungry.
Child victims of a war that has left them traumatized as a result.
It's moving to see a child that's sad, totally distraught. They're lonely, they're confused. Some of them are in shock because they've seen so much turmoil.
Tarver was told 17,000 refugees now live inside the camp. 4,000 of those are children who still have their mothers, but the women are barely surviving themselves and left desolate.
And you're seeing mothers there with children that are hungry. They're wanting to nurse, but they don't have any milk because they're malnourished as well. To see the embarrassment in the women's faces, to know that this is what my life has come to.
She says in all of her travels over the years, the visit to Debre Berhan was like a gut punch of pain. Sorrow for her fellow man has stirred her into a call for action for worldwide help.
The community there, they're doing what they can, but there's only so much that they can do in a developing country.
Tarver explains that her organization of IGO's goal is to alleviate suffering, but the suffering she witnessed in the Debre Berhan refugee camp was so great, it toppled the abilities of her nonprofit's power.
We have animals that live better than these people were living in the conditions that they were in. And then you look in their faces and you realize that they're ashamed because they come from their homes. They had homes, they had family, they had crop, and then they're totally wiped out. And they had to leave on foot with whatever they had.
She wants to raise awareness of the consequences of this deadly conflict. She calls on Louisiana leaders and leaders across the country, along with donors with giving hearts, to feel the pain of a foreign country, its people, and imagine it's your child left like that.
I just hope that somehow they can receive enough support to start to restore their lives.
ALEXANDRA MEACHUM, Fox 33 News. Oh, I know it'll just break your heart, but you can help these families you have seen in this story. The Institute for Global Outreach has created a donation page that goes directly to these refugees. You can find the link on our website, ktlnews.com.